Hi there, welcome to Friday's market commentary. Here's the chart of the S&P 500, which was pretty flat yesterday. We actually had a chance to rally. You can see that where we opened right in through here. Came all up here to the top. We had a chance to rally, didn't quite make it, and pulled right back down and closed really flat for the day. So what that tells us was really actually not bad news. The economic news was pretty bad yesterday, but the simple fact that we didn't sell off really too majorly going into a Friday weekend with all the news that could be happening was pretty good for us. So we're going to go with our current trend, which happens to be short-term downtrend. You can see that we were going sideways for a while and then started to finally break down, and now we're heading into a little downtrend. Over the last few days, so we've kind of bottomed out. We've got our bottom down here about 839, which is going to be our support level, and we're going to call the top the high of the candlestick here a few days ago at 1039. So that's kind of our trading range, about 839, 840 right in through here to about 1039. So our trading range, and right now we're right in the middle of it, and it looks like our MACDs are trying to head a little higher. So I'm going to go a little short-term neutral on our indicators here because it looks like we are trying to bounce. We did hit a low here, bounce back up, and then came down. And this time when we dropped, we had a little bit slightly higher low, which is a little bit more bullish because we didn't come all the way back down and tap the low down through here. And then we started to bounce back up. So I'm going to go short-term neutral, only because we're still in a downtrend here. And I'm going to go longer term bearish. So short term neutral, longer term bearish with support right around this 839, 840 level right in through here, and resistance at 1039. And remember, we are in earnings season, so earnings do have an impact on the marketplace, so we could get some extended volatility coming through here. If earnings continue to come out weak, then we're going to see some more selling. If they continue to come out positive, then we should remain slightly neutral, maybe even try to get a bounce. Any movement up above 1039.80 right in through here, and I'll go short-term bullish but still longer-term bearish. All right, let's take a look at the NASDAQ and see how it looks for us. All right, and here's our chart of the NASDAQ. It was down just a little bit as well, but pretty flat. It was actually a fairly decent day on the marketplace. We are short-term neutral over here as well, with support about 1545 and resistance up here around 1900 right in through here. So it looks like the S&P 500 where we were dropping came back up, hit a high, came back up, hit the lows again, and now we're right in the very middle with our MACDs already in oversold territory. Histograms starting to turn higher, so that's a little bit more of a bullish scenario. So with that, we've come down here, we've kind of held our support levels, bounced up off of a low, came down, retested those lows, held those lows again. The NASDAQ are trying to bounce back up through here higher again. So NASDAQ's looking a little bit more neutral. The simple fact that we didn't break those lows and try to bounce back up is nice. However, we really need to see what's going to happen on this next bounce. So we dropped, bounced back up to about 1900, which is resistance, came right back down to those lows, and now we're bouncing again. If this next bounce coming through here makes it above here, we'll go short-term bullish. Still overall, we're going to go with maybe a longer-term bearish to neutral in the longer term. However, because we came all the way back down and almost hit those exact same lows over here on the NASDAQ, that's a little bearish. So if we don't make it all the way back up on this next bounce and we start to roll back over again, that's going to be a little more bearish, and we could easily come down and break some new lows over here on the NASDAQ. So here's what we're watching. Even though our MACDs, our histograms are oversold and heading higher here, if this next bounce up on the NASDAQ starts to roll back over again and doesn't make it pretty close to the highs and starts to roll back over, we're easily going to come right back down to these lows and maybe even break back down through it. So we got to keep an eye on the NASDAQ. I would love for it to kind of hold this position here and then come right back up to the ceiling, pull back just a little bit, and then break through the ceiling, and then we go with short-term bullish on the NASDAQ. But for right now, we're going to go short-term neutral, longer-term bearish, maybe neutral on the NASDAQ as well. All right, hope that helps. And keep an eye on news. News has a tendency to change everything, and I wish you the best.